Coming up from the third Masters of the FIBA 3x3 World Tour 2019 season in Mexico City. We sit down with Team Edmonton's Jordan Jensen-White, who opens up about the Canadian team's rise on the World Tour. Fresh from his World Cup gold medal, Damon Huffman from Princeton talks about how the World Tour prepared him for his World Cup success. And New York Harlem's excitement machine, Marcel Esenwune, shares his memorable journey into 3x3. Plus, you gotta stay tuned to the end of the magazine for a can't-miss top 5 plays of the tournament. It's quick, it is epic, it's Olympic. Welcome to the world of FIBA 3x3 basketball, a game played with non-stop music on a half court between two teams of 3 players aiming to hit the 21-point mark with 10 minutes on the game clock. Previously at the FIBA 3x3 World Tour. After their dominance spectacularly ended in Doha, Novi Sad returned to their winning ways at the Chengdu Masters. With MVP Dejan Majstorovic dropping bombs like Woj's Twitter feed, the Serbians overwhelmed Doha Masters champ Riga Ghetto in the final. The 2 recent Masters champs will be looking to add a second title in Mexico City, but the field is loaded. Mighty Lehman can't be discounted, while Princeton and New York Harlem will be inspired after the USA's historic FIBA 3x3 World Cup victory. Can the 3-year World Tour drought end for the Americans? Oh, let's find out. Now, day 1 was officially July 6th, but it felt more like July 4th due to the show-stopping performance of New York Harlem. Against Oliva from Argentina, Dominic Jones, aka Disco Damo, came out sizzling as he dropped a pair of 2 pieces to kick things off. On D, Marcel Esenwune was having his own block party, and don't even think about stepping back when he's up in your grill. The Argentinians kept it close, but Antoine Margano, aka Cat, had the final meow to cap off New York Harlem's winning start. But they saved their best for last against world number 3 Riga Ghetto. This had more action than a Marvel movie, as Carlos Las Manas and Disco Damo traded 2 pieces. KLM stole Damo's dancing shoes, but his flight was aborted by Esenwune. When Damo splashed from deep, New York Harlem had the game in the bag, but the Latvians attempted the biggest escape scene in Mexico since El Chapo's heyday. Las Manas got the shooter's touch to tie it up at 19, but New York Harlem wouldn't be denied to cap off a perfect day 1. Now, not to be outdone, Princeton's games had more twists than Stranger Things Season 3. They were hot favorites to beat Mexico City Rudio, but the locals were inspired by their loud fans. Luckily for the Americans, Craig Moore was hotter than guacamole with 5 2-pieces, and World Cup MVP Robbie Hummel had the exclamation point as Princeton won it 21-19. Hummel continued to pour in buckets against Amsterdam, and his day-high 12 points looked to deliver Princeton another win. They led 19-16, but that's when Jesper Jabse went to work. He scored the game's last 5 points and gave his team a memorable 21-19 win and a place in the quarterfinals alongside Princeton. World number 1 Novi Sad easily topped Pool A and ended the Hague's tournament. After switching from Amsterdam, Bas Rosendahl showed off his talents with the Kareem Skyhook, but it was all Novi Sad from there. Back after missing Chengdu, Dushan Bullet proved the bank was open on Saturday, and he continued to drain buckets in Novi Sad's 22-12 thrashing. Hasta la vista, The Hague. Also, I don't want to spoil the top 5 plays video at the end of the magazine, but Dushan.
Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? That's how you end it.
Lehman were just as impressive with easy wins over Sao Paulo, DC, and rising power Edmonton. The much-hyped contest against the Canadians, it did not deliver because the Serbians were more potent than a tequila shot. It was a perfect team display as Mihailo Vasic beasted inside while Stefan Stojacic, playing in his first Masters this season, showed he still had the cheat code. Lehman finished top of Group B, but Edmonton still advanced. What a great day one in Mexico City. The top 7 seeds make it through to the quarters, with Campinas from Brazil rounding out the quarterfinals. 8 seeds, The Hague, meantime, they miss out. And it's adios for Mexico City as well. Oliva and Sao Paulo, DC, you too. Newcomers Edmonton have added flair and excitement to the World Tour, especially the athletic Jordan Jensen-White, whose love for hoops started at an early age.
I started playing basketball because my family was involved in it. I have 2 older brothers, and they both played basketball. So my oldest brother picked up the basketball first, and then my middle brother, he was a National Player of the Year in Canada. I guess just kind of being with my mom and going with her to a lot of my middle brother's games, I just kind of fell in love with it as I watched him play.
The Canadian team is a result of a split from Team Saskatoon and are led by sniper Steve Sir, who recruited Jensen-White. Getting used to 3x3 compared to 5-on-5 has been an adjustment, but it's a game that complements the 25-year-old smooth style.
It's been quite a transition from 5-on-5. The game's a lot quicker, more physical. The players are very skilled. There is skills that I do translate from my 5-on-5 to 3x3, and just to name a few would be being able to get to the hoop. Defensively, I do bring a presence. I'm pretty tall. I think I have a pretty good feel and overall for the game, so I bring a little bit of IQ because of the way I played basketball my whole life. I've played since I was 4. And I think the biggest adjustment for my game would just be the pace and the tempo, because in 5-on-5 you can find different places to rest, but in 3x3, when you're on the floor, there's no such thing as rest.
Edmonton were heartbreakingly knocked out of their debut Masters in Chengdu, but they showed they can match up with the best.
You never know what's going to happen. It feels like the gap between all the top teams is only getting closer and closer, and the results are speaking for themselves already this year.
As the youngest sibling, it would mean the world to his family if Jensen-White can win an Olympic medal.
Obviously, there's sibling rivalry. That's natural in most families that are involved with sports. I am the youngest, and I would love to carry a medal. Not ever to rub it in their face, but just to have it. It's something I couldn't have even imagined like a year ago, to have an opportunity to participate in the Olympics, let alone try and do well and win a medal in the Olympics. So it's amazing.
All right, here's a look at the quarterfinal bracket, with the top 7 seeds all making it through, alongside Campinas. And first up, it's an epic encounter between Novi Sad and Riga Ghetto in a rematch of the Chengdu Masters final. With 2 of the best teams in the world going at it, this was tense, and Novi Sad stepped it up on D. But no D can do anything about Carlos Lasmanis, and he broke Marko Savic's ankle when Flight KLM took off over Serbia and Dejan Majstorovic wisely stepped away from the poster. It was just a 3-point game with over a minute to play, but winning time equals Dusan bullet time, and Mr. Bulletproof emptied out his artillery. He was true from 2 and scored the last 7 points to shut the door on the Doha Masters champs.
We always want so much to win against Riga because they're one hell of the team. We play against them almost every weekend.
Now, only Tarantino and Leo's new blockbuster got more hype than Edmonton right now, but they faced a tough task against world number 3 Amsterdam. The Canadians started fast with Steve Sir screaming "Yezer" from downtown, and Jermaine Buckner going buck at the rim with the one-hander. It was tighter than a Speedo as DeMeo Vanderhorst leveled it up with 4 minutes to play. Big man Jesper Jobse showed he had some tricks too, but Amsterdam's hero was Dime. He splashed from deep while Edmonton went colder than your partner's feet. DeMeo's 10 points led Amsterdam to a 17-14 victory.
Now, how do you prepare to play Novi Sad in the semifinals?
We lost a lot of times against Novi Sad. I think it's time for a change.
The epic matchups continue with world number 2 Lehman against confident Princeton. The Serbs made an early statement, jumping to a 5-1 lead with Stepan Kojic pulling off the ridiculous. Princeton, they weren't rattled though. They scored 6 of the next 7 to take the lead through Craig Moore's hot hand. The sharpshooter had more in the bag, but Kojic returned serve as Lehman regained control. A dagger from Stefan Stojic shut the door though, and Lehman prevailed 22-16 over the American.
My team is doing a really good job, even without me, and now with me now I'm a help player in my team. So I want to congratulations to Kojic and Vasic for tremendous games.
Trying to restore American pride was New York Harlem against Campinas. The New Yorkers had the edge with new addition Kadini Brutus showing his worth with 5 straight points to give them a 6-point lead. But the boys from Brazil would not roll over. Cleano Ferletti got hotter than no AC, and suddenly it was a 1-point game with 2 minutes to play. New York Harlem didn't lose their cool though, with Disco Damo and Antoine Morgano finishing things off to win it 21-17.
Yeah, the altitude fatigue gets us a little bit, but we're gonna keep fighting no matter what. We're always gonna fight.
The shootout contest, the moment we crowned the best sniper in the whole tournament. The final sees 4 players hit 15 shots worth 1 point from 3 destinations around the arc and 3 money balls worth 2 points from the 3x3 logo. And to spice things up, 5,000 USD are on the table for whoever beats the all-time record of now 17 points, achieved last month in Chengdu by Edmonton Steve Sir, and $10,000 for whoever goes blackjack and scores all 21 points. This was a loaded field, with new record setter Steve Sir also defending his crown in Mexico City. The indoor setting at the Perisur shopping mall fueled expectation, and Disco Dominique Jones from New York Harlem did not disappoint. First up, as he swept through the second rack en route to a score of 12 points. Sir just couldn't get rolling on this occasion. He finished with 10 points, but the best was saved for last. Princeton's Robbie Hummel, full of confidence from his MVP performance at the FIBA 3x3 World Cup, started slowly, but he heated up when it mattered most. He started the money ball rack on 9 points and then sunk all 3 shots under pressure to take home another trophy. With a top score of 15 points, Robbie Hummel is your shootout winner of the Mexico City Masters contest. Sharpshooter Damon Huffman starred in USA's historic triumph at the FIBA 3x3 World Cup in Amsterdam with a brilliant performance in the final against Latvia. The basketball powerhouse's first 3x3 gold medal silenced critics back home.
I think that's a big misconception about our team, is that we just grabbed 4 guys and want to play 3x3. But in reality, we all played professional basketball. You know, I played in the first division in Belgium. Dan played in the first division in Greece. Robbie played in the NBA. Craig played in Romania and the Netherlands. So we're all very high quality basketball players. And I think what's important for the United States is to continue to transition 5-on-5 players into 3x3 players. And it takes time. You know, Novi Sad, they've been playing 3x3 for a very long time, and they've created that culture in Serbia of 3x3 players. The United States is slowly doing that because the skill sets are different. And now we've made that transition over the last 2 years. And I think when you look at the World Cup and the success that we had are examples of how we express our talent in basketball and how we've come together as a team.
Having struggled at the 2017 World Cup, the USA were better prepared this time around and went all the way.
When I played in 2017 in the World Cup, we didn't have the results that we wanted, and we didn't really know what to expect because that was our first time. I think this time around, having experience, knowing what to expect, who we're playing, it provided for a really special tournament. And obviously being in Amsterdam and playing in that venue was probably the greatest basketball experience I've ever had in my life.
After achieving the ultimate, confidence is sky high for Huffman and his Princeton teammates, Robbie Hummel and Kareem Maddox, who also won gold.
I think anytime you win a tournament like the World Cup, your confidence is sky high. But I think it's also important to be realistic. In 3x3, any team can beat anyone, and you always have to be prepared. And I think it's going to make us a lot tougher to beat because now we know we can beat anyone. When we play, we want to try to impose our style of basketball. We want everyone else to play the way that we want to play, not the way that they want to play. And I think if we can do that, we'll be successful and have a great chance of winning.
It's time for you to forget everything you ever knew about gravity. The Mexico City Masters dunk contest was an all-American affair featuring former Mexico City Masters champ Jordan Flight Sutherland, Isaiah Rivera, and Michael Purdy. Now, disaster struck for Purdy when he couldn't complete his final dunk attempt, meaning he was eliminated and setting the stage for a battle royale between Sutherland and Rivera. This one's gonna be remembered for decades. I'm talking MJ Neek, as the dunkers had more tens than a cash register. Flight had the early edge when he produced a jaw-dropping dunk. My man switched hands midair on a 360 slam and did so with grace.
I need to check my equilibrium. He said, did y'all see what I just did?
But Rivera was not intimidated as he pulled off a perfect score of his own with a baseline slam through the leg.
Who is this man? This kid is special.
Rivera looked like he might have this thing in a bag when he jammed one. So powerful, one-handed, through the legs, over Sutherland that had more force than a Francis Ngannou punch. Sutherland needed a perfect 30 to win the title, and he spectacularly delivered. He bounced the ball between his legs, jumped over Rivera, grabbed the Wilson with the same hand, and threw it down with no respect for gravity.
Dmitry Smooth Kravchenko made that thing famous, but you can argue that Sutherland has maybe perfected it.
I feel great. This is actually probably my best FIBA performance ever.
Jordan Flight Sutherland is back with a bang, literally, and takes home the $2,500 check. Three of the top 4 seeds make it through to the semifinals, with the other spot taken by 6 seeds New York Harlem. Novi Sad so far have made things look easy, but could a confident Amsterdam team challenge them? The Dutch needed to stop Dusan Bullet, who had been foolproof so far in the tournament. But Mr. Bulletproof showed why he's the world #1, with the Dream Shake and then the Kobe fall away to ignite Novi Sad. Amsterdam countered with Aaron Royer, who scored 3 points to get within 1. It was still a 1-possession game with 3 minutes left, but that's when Novi Sad shifted gears. Mr. Bulletproof made easy work of Jesper Jabse, and the world #1 pulled clear. Mr. Bulletproof had his second double-digit game in a row and scored .11 at the line to seal Novi Sad's 21-13 victory.
We need to stay focused, to stay concentrated, and to play final how we know.
Lehman were aiming to meet their arch rivals in the decider, but they had to get through New York Harlem first, who had beaten the world #2 recently at the Novi Sad Challenger. Out for revenge, Lehman were balling early with Stefan Stojic cracking the code to get the Serbs a 5-2 lead. But the Americans hit back with 5 straight points and smothered Lehman thanks to Marcel Esenwune's D. Kadani Brunis stepped up with 3 quick points and got New York Harlem on the cusp. But Lehman would not make this thing easy, as Mihailo Vasic's bucket got it down to 2 with 20 seconds left, and the pressure went back on the New Yorkers. Antoine Morgano, aka Cat, had the eye of the tiger and finished off Lehman to ensure New York Harlem became the biggest American giant killer since Coco at Wimbledon.
We the giant killers. We don't do this a lot, but they're gonna respect us. I promise you that. They're gonna put some respect on our name. Team Harlem on the rise.
Marcel Esenwune's high-flying dunks and thunderous rejections make him must-watch in 3x3. and those characteristics ensure he fits perfectly with the always entertaining New York Harlem. Originally from Nigeria, Esenwune was a latecomer to hoops.
I'm Nigerian, born and raised in Nigeria. I moved to America when I was about 8 years old, but I went back for high school and I came back to America for college. And I never played basketball until I got to college.
3x3 teams require chemistry and unique characteristics that differ from basketball. Marcel Esenwune came to that realization when he made his World Tour debut with another team at the Mexico City Masters back in 2016.
What I remember for that event was that we was not prepared. They just put us together and we just came out here to play basketball. And it's not regular 5-on-5 basketball. You have to really have 4 guys that are in sync to be able to win. It's impossible just to go with 4 good players like, oh, you good, come play. No. The game is a chess game. You're not gonna win it from the beginning. It's from the 10th minute to the last seconds. That's the intensity until the game finishes. That's when winning is done.
A two-way wrecking ball and a beast inside, Esenwune has proven to be an ideal 3x3 player.
A lot of people have told me that I am a pretty good 3-on-3 player because I can move, I can switch on to guards, and I could play physical big men that you have. And pick and roll, like, it's perfect for my game. People who watch at home, you're a perfect 3-on-3 player. And Dominique and Dave and Antoine Magano, they all appreciate what I bring to the team.
New York Harlem are undoubtedly one of the most talented teams on the World Tour, but have fallen short over the years. After a strong run in the Challengers, they loom as one of the top teams in 2019.
We're better this year because we are more focused and we know what it takes to win now. Before, we focus on the tournament as a whole and not the game in front of us. Don't worry about all the teams that's in the tournament, the number 1, the number 2s, the Novi Sads, the Amsterdams. Beat who's in front of you. Let everybody else worry about themselves.
One thing's for certain, Esenwune gives his all every time he steps on the court. Losing is a bitter pill for him to swallow.
My motivation is not to feel sad after a loss. That's a bad feeling. I hate that feeling. You know, after you play hard, I know it's a competition, somebody has to lose, but I don't want to be that person to lose. And that's my motivation, because I know the feeling of making it to the championship or making it to the second, quarterfinals or the semis and losing. That hurts. Hurts more than anything.
This was gonna be an epic decider. Novi Sad were looking to stamp themselves as the undisputed best in 3x3, while New York Harlem hoped to finally win the Mexico City Masters after finishing second twice before. But there ain't much you can do when Novi Sad is feeling it. Sharon was caring as Novi Sad's teamwork was on display early, although Dusan Bullet did provide the individual heroics when he hit the 2-piece from Belgrade. Novi Sad scored 8 of the first 9 points, and the game looked like it was going to be a blowout. Thomas Ivosev had no fear of Marcel Esenwune's paint presence as he rolled to the rim for the strong finish. Gadani Brutus tried to keep New York Harlem afloat, but there was no stopping Novi Sad. Mr. Bulletproof capped off his MVP performance with dominance on both ends and delivered a pass tastier than nachos. When Ivosev nailed the step back, Novi Sad celebrated a stunning 21-11 victory and completed a flawless tournament where they were never seriously threatened. 1 month after Chengdu, it's back-to-back Masters for the premier 3x3 squad.
Hey, he's already wet anyway. Now he's just literally wet.
We have a great tournament. Our best game was in the finals, so I'm very happy.
Okay, so here's what you all been waiting for. The top 5 plays of the Mexico City Masters. And they were hotter than jalapenos. First off at number 5, when Carlos Las Manos is ready for takeoff, there is no need to photobomb the poster, Maestro.
I think the Maestro saved himself, but that was close.
At number 4, Las Manos couldn't get it done this time. Flight KLM suffered major turbulence courtesy of Marcel Esenwune.
It's wiped away. A wet wipe.
Third on the list, If we had a layup contest, our man Julian Jaring would have gotten a perfect 30 on this one.
Oh, saucy. You saw the one-hand reverse.
At number 2, it's that man again. Marcel Esenwune swipe left at everybody in Mexico City.
That was aggressive.
Taking out the top spot, it's Dushan Bullet, who once again broke the internet with this sick elbow pass. Jason Williams, get out of this body. Don't you worry, you don't have to wait long for the World Tour to come back. The 4th Masters will be held July 20th and 21st from Saskatoon in Canada, headlined by Lehman, Amsterdam, and Princeton, looking for Masters glory. Remember, you can follow it live with the hashtag 3x3WT on FIBA 3x3 social media channels on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Sina Weibo.